Hey everyone, I'm Leafy Ken. Welcome to Holy Moly History. Today we're diving into one of the most iconic moments in human history, the race to the moon. Have you ever wondered what it was like for humanity to take its first steps beyond Earth? How did NASA pull off such an audacious mission? And what did it mean for us as a species? So grab your space helmets and get ready to blast off with me as we relive the incredible journey to the moon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments section how you feel. What do you find most fascinating about the Apollo 11 mission? Now let's dive in. In the late 1950s, the United States and Soviet Union were in a Cold War, battling for dominance. It wasn't just a geopolitical standoff, it was a race to the stars. You could think of it as a clash between a killer whale and a great white shark, each known for its unique strengths and both deadly predators. The killer whale is intelligent, coordinated, and uses teamwork to maneuver its prey, while the great white shark relies on raw power and aggression. This was the essence of the space race, two different strategies, both aiming for the ultimate prize, the dominance of space. The Cold War was at its peak, and the rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union wasn't just about politics, it was about the final frontier, space. It was like two neighbors locked in high-stake contests, each trying to outdo the other, but instead of flashy cars or fancy houses, the competition was about rockets and satellites. Would it be the bold and aggressive Soviet Union, or could the United States find a way to catch up? The tension between the two superpowers grew, with each new Soviet achievement prompting the United States to push harder, innovate more, and find a way to level the playing field. The Soviet Union made the first bold move in 1957 with the launch of Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite. This metal sphere, with its constant beeping, circled the Earth like a bright flag, signaling a new era in space exploration. The launch shocked the United States, leaving them to wonder, what does this mean for us? Are we already behind in this race? The shock turned to urgency as the Soviet Union continued to lead the way. In 1961, they sent Yuri Gagarin into orbit, making him the first human to travel into space. It was like the Soviet Union had rolled out a brand new high-performance sports car, leaving the United States in the dust with their old sedan. The Americans knew they needed to act fast or risk being left behind in the race for space dominance. The Soviet Union's early successes created a sense of mystery and uncertainty. Who would set the pace in the new race? Would it be the bold and aggressive Soviet Union, or could the United States find a way to catch up? The tension between the two superpowers grew, with each new Soviet achievement prompting the United States to push harder, innovate more, and find a way to level the playing field. The space race became a game of one-upsmanship, with the stakes getting higher by the day. The United States, determined not to be outdone, began developing their own programs, aiming not to just catch up, but to surpass the Soviets. Yet with each new Soviet success, the question remained, who would ultimately win the race to the stars? It was a time of intense competition and uncertainty, where every move could tip the balance. The world watched and waited, unsure of what would come next. Would the United States find a way to take the lead, or would the Soviet Union continue to dominate? The mystery and suspense made the space race one of the most captivating stories of the 21st century, a story that would ultimately lead to the greatest achievement of all, the moon landing. After the Soviet Union's early success in the space race, the United States needed to make a statement, and the Apollo program was its bold response. The goal was clear, to land the humans on the moon and bring them back safely, but achieving this objective was far from simple. It required a level of technical and logistical mastery that had never been attempted before. NASA's engineers and scientists faced a monumental task. They had to design rockets that could break free from Earth's gravity, spacecrafts that could travel nearly 250,000 miles, and a system to support astronauts in harsh environments of space. And they had to do it without the advanced computers we have today. A lot of the calculations were done manually, using slide rules and early computers, with far less power than the modern smartphone. Imagine the pressure. It's just rocket science, right? The Apollo astronauts also had their work cut out for them. Training was intense, with simulation, drills, and endless checklists. They had to prepare for every possible scenario, from equipment malfunctions to emergency procedures. Their training wasn't all about high-tech gadgets. Sometimes it was about the basics, like learning to live in zero gravity and eating freeze-dried food. It wasn't exactly a gourmet experience, more like a welcome to space. Your dinner options are limited to rehydrated meals and some interesting snack. And then there were the spacesuits. Have you seen those things? They look like giant marshmallows. Young marshmallows. Trying to work in those suits was a challenge in itself. The astronauts had to wear them for hours on end, managing to perform delicate tasks with bulky gloves and helmets that restricted their movements. You have to wonder if the design process involved a lot of trial and error. Let's make them look puffy. Also, let's eat some marshmallows. Yum. As Apollo 11 ascended into the heavens, the sense of anticipation was palpable. The world was on edge, wondering if this daring mission would succeed. The rocket engines roared with a force that shook the ground, symbolizing the power and ambition of the human spirit. It just wasn't the rocket. It was a testament to what humanity could achieve when we set our sights to the stars. Despite the challenges, the Apollo program made steady progress. However, it wasn't without its setbacks. The tragic Apollo 1 fire in 1967, which claimed the lives of 3 astronauts during a test, was a harsh reminder of the risk involved. The incident shook NASA and the American public, raising questions about the program's safety and feasibility. Yet even in the face of such adversity, the Apollo team pressed on. They knew that their mission was bigger than any individual setback. It was about proving that humanity could reach for the stars, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. With each Apollo mission, NASA got closer to solving the mystery of the moon landing. Would they make it? Could they overcome the technical and logistical hurdles? Let's dive deeper, shall we? On July 16, 1969, the world watched as the NASA Apollo 11 mission launched from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was a day that would change history forever, a day when humanity took its first steps beyond the confines of Earth and ventured into the unknown. The Saturn V rocket, a towering giant of steel and fuel, roared to life, propelling 3 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, on a journey that would capture the imaginations of generations. After a flawless launch, the spacecraft entered orbit and then began its journey to the moon. The astronauts had their tasks and routines, but there was a sense of awe and wonder as they gazed out on the Earth. Shrieking in the distance, it was a perspective that few had ever experienced, a humbling reminder of the vastness of space and the beauty of our home planet. 4 days later, on July 20th, 1969, the Apollo 11 spacecraft entered a lunar orbit. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. The Eagle, the lunar module, separated from the command module, and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin began their descent to the moon's surface. It was a delicate maneuver, requiring precision and nerves of steel. As the Eagle approached its landing site, Armstrong's voice came over the radio, calm but focused. "The Eagle has landed." With those words, the world held its breath. Humanity was on the brink of historic achievement. Armstrong and Aldrin prepared to step under the lunar surface, while Collins orbited above in the command module, ensuring a safe return for his crewmates. Then on July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong stepped down from the lunar module and onto the moon, uttering those immortal words, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." The moment was electric, a culmination of years of hard work, determination, and vision, as Armstrong and Aldrin explored the moon's surface, planting the American flag and collecting samples the entire world watched in awe. This was more than just an American achievement. It was a triumph for all humanity, a symbol of what we could accomplish when we work together, dream big, and reach for the stars. The Apollo mission wasn't just about landing on the moon. It was about inspiration, hope, and belief that we are capable of extraordinary things. It shows that when we set our sights on seemingly impossible, we can achieve greatness. As the astronauts returned safely to Earth, splashing down into the Pacific Ocean on July 24th, 1969, the world knew that something profound had happened. The journey to the moon had changed us, reminding us that our greatest achievements are yet to come. Thank you all so much for watching Holy Moly History, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching my first video.